Fani Willis's case is about to be blown wide open. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to UnwokeThoughts. Today, we are talking about the fact that Terrence Bradley, Nathan Wade's former lawyer, friend, and business partner, is being recalled to the stand today to testify. So during a really long, intense hearing about 2 weeks ago, defense lawyers spent hours trying to persuade Bradley to answer any questions about Willis and Wade's romantic relationship. However, Bradley, for the most part, refused to answer, arguing that pretty much every question that was asked of him fell underneath this umbrella of attorney-client privilege. Because remember, he was Nathan Wade's former attorney. And Judge McAfee, for the most part, for most of these questions, he allowed Bradley to invoke this attorney-client privilege until something really crazy happened. When Fani Willis's lawyers came up to cross-examine Terrence Bradley, they asked him a question that he had previously invoked his attorney-client privilege over, and he answered the question, opening up the door to him answering a whole slew of other questions. So Judge McAfee, he has decided to recall Terrence Bradley to answer more questions. But let's take a look at this, guys. Nathan Wade's divorce lawyer must testify on relationship timeline with Fulton County DA Fani Willis, says the judge. Yes, guys. So this could blow the case wide open because Terrence Bradley previously, for 5 hours, basically had amnesia. And the one thing he said more than anything was the phrase, "I do not recall." He just seemed to forget everything. It was really odd, he said on the stand. And the only thing he did was lie and forget about what happened. But of course, we all saw that dramatic moment when the state got into a subject matter that he had previously invoked his privilege over, and that just opened the door, blew the case, and now Fani Willis is in big trouble. But before we get into this article, guys, I want to let you know we are going to be streaming. I'm going to be streaming this hearing on Firebrand Media with my co-host, George. This is Firebrand Media, so go check us out. It's going to be at 11:30 this morning, and we are going to be live, and we're going to be covering the entire thing. That's Firebrand Media at Firebrand Media 1776. I go live here with my co-host about 3 times a week, roughly. But Nathan Wade's former law partner and divorce attorney was ordered by a judge Monday to retake the witness stand and testify about the timeline of the alleged intimate relationship between his client and Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis. Attorney Terrence Bradley is alleged to have direct knowledge that Willis and Wade were already in a relationship when his client was hired by the district attorney to be the special prosecutor in former President Donald Trump's Georgia election interference case. Bradley, during a February 15 hearing, refused to answer questions about the DA and the special prosecutor's relationship, citing attorney-client privilege between him and Wade. Yes, and guys, that's what made it so odd. When these questions were asked of Terrence Bradley for almost 5 hours, it was the DA's attorneys, it was Fani Willis's attorneys, that kept invoking the attorney-client privilege. And then when they came up to cross-examine Terrence Bradley, they asked him a question, and he answered it, completely blowing up this whole idea that he had attorney-client privilege for that subject matter, which kind of threw everybody for a loop. And not only that, it also threw Terrence Bradley for a loop. He looked shocked because this entire time he thought Fani Willis's lawyers were on his side, but in fact, they were doing something that is called, they were trying to impeach him, meaning they were trying to discredit him and show the judge that he was lying on stand. And some people are wondering why they did this because, of course, now we know this is only bad for Fani Willis because it opened these doors. But Judge Scott McAfee ruled Monday that the divorce lawyer and his counsel did not meet their burden of establishing the communications are covered by attorney-client privilege, and therefore, the hearing can resume as to Mr. Bradley's examination. Bradley could take the stand as early as Tuesday, according to the outlet. Yes, guys, Tuesday is today. I am excited to witness this because I've been following this case very closely, and it's pretty fascinating. Trump and several of his co-defendants are seeking Willis's disqualification from the case and to have all charges against them dismissed over the alleged relationship, arguing that the DA benefited financially from the alleged romance and that it compromised the integrity of the case. Yeah, so basically, in a nutshell, Fani Willis hired this individual, Nathan Wade, who she was dating at the time, to be a special prosecutor in this election fraud case against Donald Trump. And he was paid a substantial amount of money to be this special prosecutor. And what they are alleging is that in order to pay her back, in order for her to benefit from the whole situation, from the contract, from all the money that she was paying him, he would take her on these elaborate trips and elaborate vacations, cruises, wineries. They went to Belize. He paid for the plane tickets. He paid for everything. But, guys, Big Fani, old Fani Willis, she claims that she paid him back for everything. In fact, they both did. And when asked for receipts or some sort of proof, of course, what did Fani Willis say? Well, it was all done in cash, so I can't. And why was it done in cash? Well, because my father told me that I should always keep cash on hand just in case something happened, which, there's nothing wrong with that. But if she has a pile of cash in her house that she's keeping during an emergency, why is she using that cash to pay Nathan Wade? And why is it always conveniently every single time she used cash, something that is essentially untraceable? Why is she always using that to pay Nathan Wade? Because not one instance did she pay Nathan Wade back in a manner that she could actually prove. But lawyers for Trump recently revealed that dozens of pings from Wade's cell phone indicate that the special prosecutor made overnight trips to Willis's rented condo and communicated with the DA earlier than they had both previously testified that the relationship began. So they both testified that their relationship began in a time that would, of course, keep them out of trouble. And Trump's lawyer, Steve Sadow, had his investigator go through some AT&T cell phone data that they subpoenaed from the company. And the data actually showed, or seems to show, that they were both lying on stand, which is a very, very serious crime. That's perjury. And they both are attorneys. And attorneys, it's kind of hard for them to keep their law license if they are convicted of perjury. But McAfee will decide on whether to allow the cell phone data as evidence at a Friday hearing, according to Fox News. Yeah, so this hearing for Terrence Bradley is only about Terrence Bradley. It's not about the cell phone data yet. That is coming up, and I can't wait for that. But court documents from Trump's team claim that Wade visited Willis's condo at least 35 times before he was hired for the case. Now, Nathan Wade, he testified that he didn't visit her condo more than 10 times. And he also testified he never spent the night at her condo. And the cell phone data seems to indicate otherwise. But Wade testified last week that he made no more than 10 visits to the property before his November 2021 hiring. Both Willis and Wade asserted that their relationship began in early 2022. So guys, this is some big stuff, some big news. Terrence Bradley being recalled. And I guess we'll see what happens. He could have a chip on his shoulder now that the state's attorney, Fani Willis's attorneys, threw him under the bus. And now he could possibly just tell all. Just say, you know what, forget it. I am telling everything. So that could be one situation. Another scenario could be he clams up again because Fulton County is a very corrupt part of Georgia. And Fani Willis is a pretty powerful person. So you don't know what individual she has access to that could talk to him and, persuade him not to testify or persuade him to keep his mouth shut. So either one of those possibilities could happen. But of course, I am hoping for the former because I want him to absolutely run his mouth about everything. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think is going to happen when Terrence Bradley takes the stand? Do you think he will tell all, or do you think he's going to clam up? What do you think about this whole drama in Fulton County? What do you think about Fani Willis? What do you think about Nathan Wade? Let me know down below in the comments. Like and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. But until then, I will see you on the next one.